Hey everyone, this is Jewelyn and Hokulani. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 3 of 3 of top 10 series, wrapping up my 2022 plant year here in Santa Monica. If you guys enjoy seeing my top 10 series, go ahead and check out the channel because I've been doing this series for a couple of years now, and I thought it'd be fun to wrap up my plant year sharing 30 plants in the Santa Monica collection that are doing well, that survive my crazy travel schedule. And if you haven't watched top 10 series for cacti and succulents, it is the 2 last Monday uploads on this channel. I try to bring out a variety of plants to showcase in today's video that have been with me from a long period of time, short period of time, rare and common, so you can get a variety in today's video and you can see what is going on in the collection. The first one that I want to share is one of my peperomias, and I'm a huge peperomia collector. I also like to collect Hoyas. I'm not going to be highlighting any of my Hoyas in today's video because I feel like I always highlight them, especially when they bloom for me. I have one peperomia in today's video, different in their own unique way. And that's the fun thing about collecting peperomias. And this one is just kind of spewing and growing out in all parts of the planter. This peperomia lives in my bathroom on one of the shelves, and then I eventually moved it to the thrifted plant shelf that I have between my toilet and my sink in the bathroom. But it still is in the bathroom. It's doing pretty good. Never had any issues with the plant, and I've had this for several of years. But this is definitely one of my peperomias that will stay in the collection. I love them. I haven't bought in a peperomia recently. I do like most of the peperomias. I know, like the caparata, those ones I have bought in the past and they don't do well in my collection, so I stopped purchasing them. But I've never had any problems with this peperomia. Another plant that is living in my home is the manjula, and this was gifted to me by one of my subscribers, and it lives full-time in my studio. I have to give a shout out to this plant because, as you can see, it's giving me a nice trail, and for the most part has not given me any problems. There's one section here and then one section here, so I'm gonna keep an eye out on this section to see when it starts trailing out of the planter. But it's always nice to see plants that are gifted from my subscribers in the collection do so well. I do have one more that I'm going to share from another subscriber that is also doing good in the collection, and I will try to always give updates on the plants that are gifted to me from subscribers, either on Thursday check-ins, Pot of Fames, so that you guys can see how the plants are doing in the collection. Another plant living in the bathroom is my gloriosum, and this is one of my newest plants in the Santa Monica collection, and I got this on my trip to southern Florida earlier this year. So I've had this plant in my collection now for about 10-11 months, something like that, and this is the way how it's growing. I did trim off a few leaves that were starting to turn a little brown yellow. I don't know if that's the characteristic of the plant when it's, you know, wants to give out a new leaf. I think a lot of plants are like that. I try to not get too stressed out about it, especially when it comes to rare plants. But for the most part, this one is doing really good. It'll continue living in the bathroom, and hopefully it'll do good while I step away from the collection for about a month while I dance in Las Vegas. And usually what I do with the plants in the bathroom is I just kind of crack the door almost closed so that the humidity stays in there for humidity loving plants, and I seem to have not had any issues. So two things that I'm not highlighting in today's videos are my variegated monsteras or George and any of my Hoyas, because I feel like they always have spotlighting time on the channel, so I'm trying to give a little light to different plants. When I bought it, it was pretty expensive, so I'm happy that it's doing good. I have it staked up on one of my coco coir poles that I've made, and tons of new growth, and this lives in my bathroom full-time. Doing really well, I have to say. Hadn't had any issues with me traveling, and again, I do leave the bathroom for the most part slightly almost closed so that humidity stays in there, and that includes my variegated monsteras. They all stay there when I travel. Bring out one of my dracaenas because it is a common plant, but I never have any issues with this one or the one in my Las Vegas room, so I wanted to give them a shout out because They're common, but they're very easy and low maintenance. And it's one of those plants where they can really get super tall, like taller than me, and they just have a lot of interest. And I know the larger the plant gets for a Dracaena, it does get pricey, but I feel like you can get one pretty reasonably priced, at least in my part of the world. If you get one a little bit smaller than mine, then they won't really break the bank when it comes to plants. But take a look at it. It's definitely giving me like mod vibes, you know, like it's definitely an aesthetic type plant if you just want one plant to give a little green in your space, or say like in your office space. I feel like this is a very common office plant, but I wanted to highlight the Dracaena, at least this one, because even though if it's very common in my part of the world, I have not had any issues with the plant and it's doing pretty well. And I'm trying to think how long I've had this one in my collection. I want to say for a couple of years. I don't know if this is from one of the plants that I got from the plant guy at the Melrose where I do trades with sometimes, maybe, or the one in my Las Vegas room is from his plant booth. But can never go wrong with the Dracaena. So if you guys are looking to add a plant that is not going to break the bank, but maybe it's expensive in your part of the world and not as common as where I'm from, you might want to look out for adding one of these plants in your collection if you're new to plants. Very easy, a lot of personality. Plant in maybe your part of the world. This is what my silver sword in Santa Monica looks like, and I have a silver sword in the Las Vegas collection that I recently bought. And I think my plan for my two plants is to add the one in Las Vegas to this planter and have it more full, and I would probably put it in the back section here, and then you can have like a full planter. I think that's what I'm gonna do. As you can see, it's growing past the stake now, so I'm gonna have to stake it up in a larger stake. But I think I will dedicate a planting with Jewelyn restaking plants when I'm back in a month, because there's a few plants that I need to restake. I have my big philodendron bipenifolium. I have two of them. One is like vining by my window, by my love seat, and then one is right by my fountain, and that one I think is maybe 2 feet longer past the stake on my largest stake. And I don't know what I want to do with it because I don't want to propagate it and have more plants, but maybe I'll take bigger cuts so that I can fill up the planter, but the planter is already full, so I don't know yet. But stick around because we're gonna do a restaking video and maybe propagate that philodendron and fix up this silver sword and add the one from Las Vegas in, and then I can take the whole planter back to Las Vegas. So that is probably my plans for the silver sword. At one point this plant was considered rare in my part of the world. I feel like maybe depending on where you're buying plants, the silver sword in Southern California can still be an expensive plant. But for me, I think it's 50-50. Still rare, but seen a little bit more often than what it was several years ago. A lot of new growth in this planter, so I'm very happy about the way how it's filling up. And I've purchased this plant at least 3 times. I love the muted color. I'm a huge fan of philodendrons, so I will continue to keep the silver sword in my collection, and it's living in a white planter. But very fun update to my Wilfin Sansevieria. I could not look. The Hoyas and my Monsteras that are variegated, my Thai Constellation, Elbow, George, my beautiful Compacta, and all of my Hoyas in the collection, they always get spotlighted. I haven't highlighted my Wilfin in a while, so I wanted to do it in today's video because there's a lot of babies here. Look at this. Like, doing so good. Unbelievable. Very easy to propagate. I have propagated from this mother plant so many times and sewed off puppies from it. And look at it. Today it's still nice and full. If I wanted to, I could easily, say for instance, I even see a little baby down here, back in here. If I wanted to sell from my Wilfin, I would probably maybe take this one here and maybe this one back here. Yeah, there's just so many ways that I could propagate from this planter. So any of you guys are in the US and want a propagated baby from my mother plant, I'm willing to take 1 or 2 because it's been a while. I know when I first brought this plant home, I think I sold off 3 propagated sections to subscribers. And look at the mother plant today. It is nice and full, so I couldn't pass up highlighting one sansevieria down here so you can see it's taller than me and it's blooming. I haven't had any issues with it. I feel like with begonias, at one point I was like loving the maculata, and like all of these begonias just was coming into my collection. I don't know if I ever did a collective video, but begonias are very hard plants to take care of, at least for me. So to see this very large begonia that's taller than me, I want to say it's like 6 feet tall, still doing good in the collection. I have to give props to this begonia for surviving. It lives by my fountain. I try to not get the leaves wet, and I try to not like touch the plant. It didn't mind my crazy schedule this year, so hopefully if I could just keep one begonia alive, it'll be this one in the collection. I'm trying to think, maybe the rest of my begonias in my collection have all died, and I haven't bought in a begonia lately. This was my last one. It's doing good, so we're just gonna, yeah, no more begonias. I think that's like definitely one plant in my new upcoming 2023 plant year I will not be buying are begonias. No offense to the begonias, but I like kind of took notice of that now. Like this is like the only one that's surviving in my collection, and I'm just happy with this more. And I know I just shared this one on Pot of Fame. This is my Silver Glory String of Hearts, still living in the nursery planter because I'm nervous to repot it, but it's doing really good. And I just love seeing this hang in my patio amongst all the dark green trailing plants that I have. It's such a, like, I don't know, it's a stunning plant. I got it in Las Vegas this year, I believe, and it's doing really good. You know, I have never propagated this plant. Do I want to? No, I think I just want to keep it as is. But comment down below, do you think I should get it out of this nursery planter and plant it up in a different planter, or just leave it in the nursery planter because it's happy and I don't want to stress out the plant or ruin the trails? But I had to bring up this plant again. The global green, this was gifted to me from one of my subscribers, and I have not had any issues with it. Look at it, it's trailing long. I've never seen this plant in person, so it was very nice to be gifted this from one of you guys, and it's doing really good. So these are the 2 plants that I wanted to highlight in today's video that were from subscribers. I have many more plants from subscribers, and they're all doing really well for the most part, and I will, like I said, give updates throughout the year, whether it's on a Pot of Fame or Thursday check-in on how they're doing. The global green is doing really good in Santa Monica, and that is going to wrap up my top 10 plants, houseplants edition. Comment down below, what do you think? I tried my best to highlight a variety of plants, sticking away from Hoyas and my variegated monsteras. And I wanted to also include like the common plants amongst the rare plants and give you guys a variety. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing 10 plants that are doing well in the collection this time of the year. I will continue to do my top 10 series, if not quarterly, at least like during the summer and then the end of the year, beginning of the year, at least twice a year, to give you guys an overview of 30 plants in the collection that are doing really well. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the updates on the collection here in Santa Monica. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Subscribe for daily uploads between the main channel and the vlog channel. You get a video each and every day. Also, I thought it'd be fun to wear my begonia earrings since I highlighted my begonia in today's video. And I love creating art with the begonia blooms, and that's the fun thing about my plant life now, is that I can preserve the blooms and create beautiful pieces. JewelYN.com, you can see 60% of the shop on the web shop. Where I take this channel in which direction, but I will definitely try my best to share plant life wherever I go around the world, and I hope you guys had enjoyed seeing that this year. I did take the channel to some really cool places and got to meet a lot of cool plant people along the way. So that's it for now. I will see you soon. Happy planting, happy new year. Aloha from Santa Monica, California. Bye.